Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kay, and today I'm going to help you get that patient care tech position. I'm going to go over tips for application, interviews, and also I'm going to go over common interview questions. Okay, so 2019, we are not playing any games, okay? We're going to be booked and busy. All right, so stay tuned if you want to get that job. Alright guys, so I want to start off by saying that I've helped a few people get into the hospital setting. Everyone I've helped has gotten the job, okay? So I'm definitely, qualified to do this, and I've learned a lot from like my own application process and theirs, so I can help you even more. And I'm going to go over all of that stuff today. So hopefully this helps you get your hospital job as a tech, okay? The person that asked me to do this video, I'm actually going to answer a question that she asked me in the comment section before we get started, because I don't think I really fully answered it, because I mean there's only so much you can write in the comment section. But she basically has this dilemma where she has an interview coming up and she applied for the day shift position, but she really wants to work the night shift. She has kids and it's just going to be really stressful for her if she works during the day. In this situation, I would say that you should always apply for the shift that you want. If you're not willing to be flexible at all, like, if it's only day shifts available and you can do day shifts for a couple of months, then that's when I would apply to these positions. But if you know for sure that you cannot do day shifts at all for whatever reason, like if you have school or if you have kids and you're not able to, and you can only work nights, I wouldn't even bother applying to the day shift position, because there are times when that's all they have available. If it's on the job board, that may be all they have available. And if you interview for this position and they offer it to you, you may, that's just going to be a weird situation, because now you have to tell them that you actually can't do the job. And also some jobs require, like, let's say you want to get your feet in the door, and you apply for the day shift position, but you really wanted nights. They may require you to stick with that day shift position for like 6 months. So definitely, just apply for the position that you want, because you may be stuck with it. That's if you're not willing to be flexible. And also, like, during the interview, like, if you can't work that position, then don't continue with the process. Like, first I would just, instead of just telling her I have kids and I may not be able to do this and whatever, instead of doing that, because you don't want to scare the person. It's like when you go on a first date, you're perfect, you're an angel, and then you bring the crazy out later. That's kind of like this situation. You don't want to tell them too much about like what you're dealing with, because they may think, oh my gosh, this person is going to be a handful. I'm just going to go to the next person. So you don't want to just come like out the gate just, saying all the baggage or issues that you may be dealing with. First just ask like what shifts they have available. And they may say, for this position, we have nights and days. And they may say, we only have day shift. And at that time, you can decide what to tell them. Okay, so my camera decided to run out of space. But anyways, hopefully that answered that question though. But moving on to the tips. First, I'm going to give you a few tips on getting the job. Okay, so the application process and all that. So the first thing I would say is, like, if you work like as an EMT, or people that work in the hospital setting, make sure that you like reach out to them and ask them to help you out, you know, ask them to hook you up. And if you work, like for me, I worked as an EMT, so I went to like all the different hospitals. So I would talk to the techs and I'll ask them like, how do I get a job here? So I mean, just like learn how to talk to people that is in the position that you want, because that can like open up doors. You know, they may not be able to help you, but they may give you like a clue that can help you out. So, you know, just learn how to like, you know, be vulnerable and just like talk to people. I mean, they won't bite, like hopefully not. The next tip is to make a follow-up call. Like if you actually like apply to these jobs, make a follow-up call. You don't want to really show up at the job. Like now everything is done on the internet. So just like, you know, applying and then going out of the way to call the hospital and make a follow-up call, I think that is good enough. Don't call like a million times. You know, that's just going to be annoying. So, you know, follow up, introduce yourself, let them know that you're interested. And I think that just shows that you are interested and, you know, you're willing to go out your way to make sure you get the job. Let's see. And I would also say don't like go in person and like try and get in touch with the manager, because really they're just gonna like send you to the job board, you know. So make sure you put in the application first and then just like make a call. You don't want to be like overbearing. Okay, so next I put apply, apply, apply. And just a reminder, all these tips are on my website. I'm going to post this on my website so you don't have to write notes or anything. But just keep applying, because it took me like months of applying before I actually got a job at the hospital. Like it's really hard sometimes. And I know one of my coworkers actually said it took them like 2 years to get into that company. Some companies are a little bit harder to get into than others. But usually the harder it is to get into that company, they usually have like more, they usually probably like pay more, or the quality of their workers are probably better, you know. But I would say don't give up, just keep trying, and don't give up on applying. And if you're desperate, I would say apply everywhere. But if you know the company that you want to work for, just keep applying there, like over and over again, every day if you have to, because they'll keep seeing your name and eventually they're like, man, this person really wants this job. So just like be selective if you can, but if you're just desperate, just apply to anything you can find. Let's see. Okay, so make sure that your resume looks good. You know, there's nothing worse than a resume that looks ghetto and it just, I don't know, it just looks bad, because these people don't know who you are, so they're judging you like really based on a resume, like a piece of paper. So make sure it looks professional. You don't want anything too fancy. You know, you want something like, you know, professional is usually boring. So get like a professional like template of like, well, Word, the Microsoft Office. They usually have templates on there. So use one of those and just make sure it's like professional. Watch some videos on YouTube, or read a few articles. And, you know, just look at different samples on what a professional resume would look like and make sure yours looks like that. And if you know a friend that does, you know, that can create a really nice resume for you, just reach out and ask them to do that. I know my sister, like, is really good at making, like, a resume, like, you know, so I would ask her to help me out with that. So, you know, use your resources and just create something that's, you know, going to blow them away. And I feel like someone who can make a really good resume, you may have like the simplest job. It may not be like, you know, an executive job, but they'll make it sound so good. And make sure you cater your resume to that position. So look at their job description and make sure some of those things are also on your resume. Okay. Let's see what's next. So research different hospitals within a corporation. So the hospital that I work for is a part of like a bigger corporation. So I really like love that corporation. So I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna apply for jobs within that company. Like instead of going to like I don't know if they use Snag a Job anymore, but Indeed, all these other places, instead of like going there to apply, I would directly just go to the company's like website, the hospital's website to apply. Because maybe I think they'll probably update those a lot quicker than the external stuff. So those are like my tips on the application process and actually like getting the job. So now we're going to talk about some interview tips. Okay, so my first interview tip is to research the company. And every company wants to know that you chose them and they're not just like a random company that you wanted to work, that you just want to get a job at. You want them to know that I know all about this company and this is where I want to be. It's always flattering, just kiss their butt a little bit, stroke their ego, and research stuff like, if that company has won like any awards, look on if they were mentioned on some Forbes list. Some hospitals are featured as one of the best hospitals in the country or in the state. So look up things like that. Maybe they're a stroke center or a trauma center. Make sure you know that. And I told someone this for their interview tip, and they mentioned during their interview that the place was a trauma center, and they mentioned the number of beds. And the person interviewing them, she was like blown away. Like she was impressed that he knew like so much about the hospital. And it's the little things, just think of something outside the box. Look online. The number of beds. What else? Maybe it was featured as one of the best places to work. I don't know, something. Just Google is your friend in this situation. I would dress professionally and smell good, but don't be like too overpowering. You want to make sure they know that, okay, she's clean or he's clean, and she takes a shower. She's, just make sure you smell good, and, you dress really nice. Make sure your shoes are closed-toed shoes, and make sure you have a nice professional outfit, professional pants, maybe like a blazer. And you don't have to go that far, honestly. Like just wear a nice blouse for like women, or a nice shirt for men, and just professional pants. Arrive on time, okay? That you really never want to show up to any interview being like late. Like that just looks bad. They don't know who you are. They don't know that, okay, this person is always on time. All they know is, okay, I just met this person and they're late. So definitely, think about traffic, and leave your house early. Get there like at least 30 minutes early, and make sure you know where you're going, because it would suck if you're on time and then you end up being late because you're like running all over trying to find this place. And if you're gonna be late, make sure you call early so that they know that you're not just like trying to rush in at the last minute and then call and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late, when you're already late. It makes no sense. So just, if you're going to be late, call like 30 to 45 minutes ahead and let them know. No one wants their time wasted. Next tip, when you go in, make sure that you smile. You know, if someone is in your vicinity, just say hello, you know, and maybe that someone is the person interviewing you. You never know. So you always want to be just like friendly. I mean, not like a crazy person, like, you know, smiling at everyone you see like a psycho, but you know, just a simple, you know, hello. And just like smile, you know, you don't want to seem angry. Like, even if you're not someone who smiles a lot, just, you know, just try a little bit. I would say, like, you know, be yourself, like the best version of yourself. You know, I change it from being yourself to being the best version, because sometimes people being themselves is not the best idea. So be the best version of yourself, you know, put your professional hat on and be like, you know, a professional, but what am I trying to say here? You know what I mean. Just be the best version of yourself. Just, you know, impress these people, and don't bring the crazy out until after the interview. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, like I said before, on the first date, you know, you act, you know, you act perfect, and then later on, when you know, you get to know the person, then you can bring the crazy out. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, keep the crazy in until the mission is accomplished. That's true. Because, I mean, have you ever asked yourself how certain people got the job? Like, how did this person get through the interview? Like, I wonder that for some people sometimes. And they know how to play the game. The next tip is think of examples ahead of time, you know, maybe like challenging times, times when you've had to like be a leader, you know, the typical interview questions. Like, make sure you think of examples, because sometimes they'll ask you, think of this time when you had to do this, you know, and if you have an example in your head, you can like flip it and make it work for you. What else? Okay, so the next tip is to be honest about your availability. It's just like I was saying before. Sometimes we get desperate and, you know, we put some availability that aren't necessarily true, but we just want the job. But sometimes that can backfire, especially if that position is the only one that they're looking to fill. For example, they may only be looking for that day shift, you know. So, I mean, if you're flexible and you can do day shift or night shift, you know, even if you prefer one over the other, then, you know, I would apply to everything. But if you know for sure that you can't do a certain shift, don't even like waste your time. Next, never have no questions. I think it's just, I don't know, I guess it looks lame for you to come to an interview and not want to ask anything, especially if you want the job really bad. It looks really dumb to say, oh no, I have nothing at all. You know, at least ask one thing, you know, and just make it something interesting, something, you know, different than what everyone else asks, and different than what you can probably find on their website. So a few questions that I always tell people to ask, and that usually really stands out, is like, what is a typical day like in this position? You know, if they didn't already tell you that, then, you know, that will be a good one. And then the one that just blows them away is, what is your team goal? You know, I've had 2 people tell me that the managers were like really impressed when they asked this, especially someone that hasn't worked in a hospital before. But yeah, that just always blows them away. So those are 2 good ones that you can ask. And I would write it down on a piece of paper, because my manager actually told me she was impressed by that I wrote, these questions down, because it looks like you really put thought into it, so I mean, just come up with your own, like, maybe research the company, and maybe you can find something you can ask them about. So those are my interview tips, and next I'm going to talk about interview questions. Okay, so the first interview question that we're going to go over is, tell me about yourself. And I really don't like telling people about myself. I really hate this question, but this is not a time to tell your life story. Really, you just want to stick with the academic and professional goals. Just give them like a quick synopsis on your journey so far. So I would say, I graduated with my bachelor's. I became an EMT. I've done that for like a year and a half, and then now I'm looking to learn a little bit more. So I want to transition into the hospital setting, and my end goal is to become a PA. Simple. And I would end it at that. I mean, some people can choose to give little facts about themselves, but I wouldn't waste my time. They're not really there to, like, get to know me personally like that. They more want to know how I fit in with their company and their goals. So just stick to the academics and professional. And if you have to, just mention one thing personal about yourself. What do you know about this hospital? And, this goes back to what I said about researching the company. You want to make sure that you know just a few facts about the company, maybe when they opened, how many beds they have, things that I mentioned before. Why should we hire you? They'll probably ask you this one, this is obvious. It's like, why are you here? And I always talk about skills, different skills that I have, maybe like communication skills, positions you've held, and definitely talk about your passion for caring for the patient. This is something that you love to do and you just want to learn more, so definitely mention that. And if you've never had a patient care tech job before, and this is like your like you've never worked as CNA or an EMT or anything, talk about like leadership roles that you've held in high school or college, just things that you've done that would be like impressive, and things that would match that position. Maybe like, talk about communication skills, leadership skills, things like that that would, fit in with what they're looking for that position. Talk about a personal challenge and how you had to overcome it. Like I said before, always have examples of like, different hardships that you faced, like with patients, or maybe other challenges that you face, and just keep it like medically related, if you can. Or like I said, if you haven't worked in this field before, just think of something else. I talked about my turnaround time. I mean, that was a challenge at work. Name a time you had a conflict with a coworker, and I really wouldn't go too deep into this. Okay, like you don't want to make it seem like you're just getting bug all day at work and just fighting with people. So just say, I usually don't have conflicts with coworker because I try to focus on the job itself. But if there's ever an issue, I always make sure I communicate with them and let them know so that the tension doesn't build up. Simple. What do you consider important in the workplace? Definitely teamwork, communication, having like a comfortable and clean work area, opportunities to advance. Those are some examples, but definitely teamwork. You want to show that you're a team player, and you're a good communicator also. strengths. Talk about your strengths. I mean, this could be anything, you know, that, and I would especially talk about strengths that would benefit this position. So if this position requires teamwork, definitely say teamwork. You work well with others, great time management, good bedside manners, you're an effective communicator. All these things will be great for a tech job. And, you know, you can think of some other things also. So weaknesses, for heaven's sakes, please don't say I'm a perfectionist. Please. Please don't say that. I think that's like the corniest, like, cliche thing that they always look for, because people always say it, but please do not say that, okay? I think once they hear that, they're like, okay, the interview's over, like. So don't say I'm a perfectionist, okay? Talk about something that you struggled with, and then just basically talk about how you improved upon that. You know, you don't want to say things like, you know, I'm always late, but I'm a little bit better now, you know, because they're not going to want to deal with that. So don't mention anything that's terribly bad, but show that you can work on something and improve and become better. And, you know, I talked about my turnaround time. That's not terribly bad, because, I mean, I just started the job. So, of course, I'm not going to have a great turnaround time at my EMT job. And then I talked about how I went from having a turnaround time of 20 minutes to a turnaround time of 15 minutes. So it's showing that, you know what, she worked on it, and, you know, she improved. So it wasn't anything too terrible, though. So be careful with that question, and make sure that you think of something to say ahead of time. And do not say I am a perfectionist, okay? Next, let's see. And don't mention that you have trouble working with other people. That wouldn't be good either. Or you like to work alone, because it shows that you're not a team player. So the last one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, I think a lot of people are afraid to really say, you know, what their end goal is, because they don't want their interviewer thinking that they're just going to up and leave the job, you know, within the next 5 years. But, you know, it's very important to tell them your goals and show them that you do plan to, like, you know, grow with the company or just evolve as a person. You know, maybe you want to become a nurse in a couple of years, or a PA, or go to med school. Show them that, you know, you do have goals, and don't be afraid that they won't hire you because you're mentioning that you're going to leave one day. I mean, of course, most people are going to leave one day, but maybe just say in a couple of years, I want to, you know, get into PA school or become a nurse, and this job will be perfect for me because I can get hands-on experience. You know, so just really let them know that you want to advance and possibly, like, grow with the company, but you have plans for this position. You know, you plan on learning a lot with this position. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you get this job, and I really hope that my tips help. You know, they've been effective for a few other people, and I hope that it's also effective for you. And make sure that you comment below if you get that job. And also, like, you know, if you're a tech, you know, make sure that you comment below and give some advice to other people that may be watching this video. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and good luck on your interview. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because, I mean, I'm on fire lately, you guys. I'm going to be uploading a lot more videos. So just watch out for that, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Every single day